All right, what is up, homies? As you can see, I've got some of my tanks out. One group is waiting to be dry brushed, and the other group is waiting for their wash, followed by a dry brush. I have decided to paint the artillery in the that blue gray color I love so much. That space gray that Vallejo puts out. Now, as you can see in my hand, I do have something in my hand, and yes, let's get it in there. Boom. That is a Thunderhawk gunship. Oh my goodness. You know how long I've wanted to own a Thunderhawk gunship? I would say probably my whole life, but um, I could never afford like the $1,000 or however much that they wanted. I mean, I do understand, I guess, that if you wanted to, you could always like buy, you know, a recast or a counterfeit one or something. That was always an option, but I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Because even if no one else knew it was fake, I would know it was fake, and that would bother me quite a bit. So, Dungeon Minister popped into the live stream the other day and he's like, "Yep, James is over here building tanks." And you know what? He's right. He is right. That's what it is. Except this time, I'm actually going to be spending some time, even though uh, this video is not going to be that long, since this is just a "Hey, how do you do? This is what I'm up to" kind of thing. Now, I ended up getting these guys uh, from Little Big Wars in North Dakota. I'll shout them out a little bit, I guess. I don't know a whole lot about them except for one thing, that they had these guys on such a discount. You know what I mean? Like, like the price on the box is $10 more than what I was charged, what they were selling them for. So I don't know if I just caught a good sell or they're just trying to clear out inventory. Either way, you know what? I'll take it. You know what? That's my opinion. If somebody's got to sell on something that I want, then yes, I will take that sell every day of the week, especially if the sell is going to save me, you know, $10 on a model. When I saw the price they were asking, I even thought, I was like, is this right? I mean, but it was. So it worked out for them because, of course, since they were selling the figure at such a agreeable price, I bought two of them. And I think I could definitely foresee building an army list for my Blood Angels where, like a huge, relatively large part of the actual Blood Angels forces are mounted in Thunderhawks, and the whole deal is, because I mean, if you've ever read any of the Horus Heresy stuff, how often Thunderhawks and Storm Eagles or whatever are used, and these things got like a really pretty hefty uh, transport ability, in addition to just being, a flying tank, you know. And I mean, for real, these guys, you can see I'm putting on my Tamiya extra thin glue. A lot of times, yeah, I'll actually hold the piece together and just run the extra thin glue down the seam, and that'll grab that because it seeps into the whole thing, and then boom, and then just hold it together for a moment and let it fuse together. You know what I mean? Real tragedy what happened in Tennessee with that armament factory blowing up. I mean, hopefully it turns out that it was accidental, not that that would bring anyone back from the dead, but geez, I'm just getting so sick and tired of hearing about, you know, attacks and stuff. I just really, really want it not to be, some maniac out there being a maniac. I remember when I was going through fire academy, they told us about one of the worst explosions in history was actually at a mill where they were storing and transporting flour because with fire you need fuel, the flour itself in this case, you need oxygen, that's in the air, and then you need heat. And as long as you have those things, then you can get a pretty bad situation, and that is what happened there. It like, I mean, if that's what this is, then that's just horrible. Anyway, yeah, not going to be a real long video. I'm just putting a little something together. I got, of course, stuff to do, and because as some of you know, my weekends are generally very busy. I'll tell you what, this model so far going together very, very well. Hopefully, I'm not, going to jinx myself here. Let's see. So that's what the exclamation point is that this has to go in before the other thing does. Otherwise, it won't go in. So come here. Come here. Don't be away. You know you want to do it. So there I was. So there I was, drinking a $12 caramel cappuccino, taking a bunch of Nexium, and I was going to a book club with the ladies where we're going to discuss masturbating Minotaur men for money, because young Western women are truly degenerate beings at this point in society. Like super degenerate. Super degenerate. I mean, they've been trained by a failed education system to hate men so much that they can't even have porn about men. They'd rather have porn about jerking off monsters, because somehow in their twisted mind that's a superior choice. It's kind of like the purple haired women saying they'd rather be trapped in the forest with a bear than a man. And it's like, well, how to say you've never been to Alaska, because yeah, down here in the South, we got little black bears, and they're not really going to do much to you, honestly. Tear your garbage up, maybe get stuck up a tree, and then you're going to have to call, the animal control to try and get them down and go, put them somewhere where they can be safe. But, up in places like Alaska and stuff where you got, big brown bear, grizzly, whatever. I mean, the last thing you would ever want, unless you're just absolutely insane, is to be trapped in the woods with one of those bastards, especially if it's hungry, because you're going to get ate. That's what's going to happen. And you're not going to like it. So, for feminists to argue they'd rather be trapped in the forest with a bear than a man, it's like, how stupid do you got to be to even, think of that? That's like, uh, you know, did you actually think this through? Because if you were trapped in the forest, the reality is the person who would come and save you is going to be a man, right? The forest ranger, the whatever, 90% of the time it's going to be a man that comes to save you from whatever stupid decisions you've made, right? So by arguing that you feel safer around a grizzly bear than some random dude who's out here just probably trying to, do the right thing, that would be like a woman saying that if she were ever in a house fire, she wouldn't want a fireman to come and save her. She'd just rather stay in the house fire because, she doesn't feel safe around firemen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so stupid, it's hard to even like, and just it's hard to even think about it. It's like, really, this is where you are. And the thing is that kind of stupidity, right? That kind of stupidity isn't natural. That's learned stupidity. You know what I mean? Like, the women who are saying this sort of stuff, they either paid a lot of money to go to a university to be taught to be this stupid, or they're listening to another woman who went to a university and paid a lot of money to be taught to be that stupid. But it's not like a natural part of society. Like, normal women, believe me, do not sit around thinking, boy, if I was trapped in a dark arboreal forest, like freaking in the depths of Alaska or the taiga somewhere, I sure hope no man ever finds me. I definitely feel safer hanging out with the Kodiaks. It's like, no, that's not something like real women say. That's something that like college maniacs and the females who think the college maniacs are smarter than they actually are. That's what they say. I mean, let's be honest, right? We're talking about a portion of the population that freaks out if they see a rat, but they're going to and to be fair, what's the first thing they do when they do see a rat? They scream for a man to come and get rid of the rat, or a spider in the bathtub or something. You know what I mean? The first thing they do is lose their shit and call for a man to come and get rid of whatever the little creature is that they're super upset with at that moment, right? But then these same women are going to argue that they want to be trapped out in forest with a bear. It's I think Futurama had it right. At some point in the future, people are going to look back at this time period and they're going to refer to it as the stupid ages. You know what I mean? It literally is going to be known as the stupid ages. Just that time period when everyone was dumb as hell. Yeah, I kind of think that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I seriously think we live in the stupid ages right now. It's like the media does nothing but lie. Young modern women are being trained to be as stupid as they possibly can be. And men even are being dumb as shit. It's like, you know, the barbarians are at the gates, and guess what? They're going to win because I don't know. It just seems the way it's going to go. Can't even feel like angry about it hardly because it's like, I mean, what do you do? I mean, how can you be angry when people do something that they choose to do? It's like you made this decision. I mean, it's like in Fight Club. One line in Fight Club that always stuck with me had to do with the polar bears, or not polar bears. Excuse me, not polar bears. Uh, Pandas. And even though it's kind of cold hearted to say, I thought it was absolutely a truism. It's like, how can you feel bad for a creature that's too stupid to reproduce to allow the continuation of their species? It's like, I mean, how can you feel bad for that? I mean, at a point, you almost kind of think, yeah, you're getting what you deserve, dumbasses. I mean, all you had to do is like reproduce and raise your children and then let them out into the wild to eat all their bamboo they want to eat and then just keep doing that. And, over time, guess what? Demographics is victory, right? You win because you did the thing. Yay for you, right? But we live in a society where people are actively choosing to not reproduce and stuff, and then acting like doing so is somehow a a moral decision. And it's like what is wrong with you? I mean, I'm never I'm actually quite surprised by this. I know I'm doing a little philosophy here, but it's like what surprises me is that the people who get caught up in this are dumb enough to get caught up in it. It's like, okay, let's say you're go to college, right? You're sitting in college, some hippie professors talking a bunch of shit. I mean, I know that you're an 18 or 19-year-old at this point, maybe a little older because maybe you're there with the GI Bill, but it's like, how are you so stupid that you're sitting in the class, the professor's talking all the stupid shit, and yet you somehow believe it? You know what I mean? That is, to me, it is just such a freaking, it's like mind blowing almost. It's like, why are you so dumb? It's like, what happened to you between high school and college? I mean, and of course, I know some people they have this, like, they feel like, and they're probably right, honestly, that you have to kind of fake it to make it. Okay, so let's say you're in a class and it's important to whatever your degree is, and there's a wacko professor there talking a bunch of crazy shit. Maybe you have to just kind of get along to get along, right? But then once you're done with that class, man, you can just like forget everything that maniac ever said and move on with your life, right? And that's, of course, showing how effed up our system is, since I mean, apparently you gotta do that to a degree, but it's like, but these kids believe the stuff. That's the problem. They actually believe it, and it's like, and then they're out here doing whatever they're doing, and it's like, yeah, this is the next generation of Americans. Hopefully, I mean, the smarter ones will be able to hold political power and keep the mentally ill from gaining too much power. But I mean, it's hard to say, right? If that'll happen or not. Anyway, as you can see, look how big this bastard is. I mean, because that's a Lehman Russ tank next to it. This thing is huge. It's going together really easy, though, and I'm loving that. Loving that. Hell yeah. Because if there's one thing the tank builder in me loves, is when models are well designed and go together with the least amount of harassment. Just let's get this bad boy put together. Let's get it ready for its primer coat and its freaking arterial blood wash, and then it'll get its pyro red dry brush, and at that point it'll be freaking good to go, right? It'll be like nice. And then it'll be time to throw it on the well, right now throw it in the container with the rest of my army until we can get some games in, man. Looking forward to that, honestly. Really looking forward to that. Okay, so let's see. Ah, man. I think I'm going to end this video. I think I've rambled on enough. But yeah, part of me is that I guess I expect people to be smarter than they are. And we're going to have a storm today too. So let's stop the recording. Peace and love, guys.